Alrighty, today I've got my friend Blocky over here, and Blocky's going to get knocked in the backside of the head with a couple balls. And so one of these balls is a very, very bouncy ball, this one. This other ball, the opposite of a bouncy ball. It just doesn't do anything. But they're both going to get struck in the back of the head from a pendulum. So my question is, both of these balls have the exact same mass. One of them doesn't bounce. One of them bounces. Which is more than likely, when it strikes Blocky in the back of the head, which one is more likely to topple Blocky over? So pause your video for a moment and think about which one of these two is more likely to knock Blocky over and why. Pause. You're not pausing. Pause. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with, it doesn't matter which one. We'll start with the non-bouncy first. That's this one. Okay, so non-bouncy, they're going to go from about my nose height here. So here's non-bouncy from the nose height. Ooh, that was almost knocked Blocky over. Bouncy from the nose height. Oh, knocked the crud out of old Blocky. So the question is, both have the same mass, meaning they both have the exact same potential energy. So as they swing down, each ball has the exact same kinetic energy right before they strike old Blocky. So the question is, why is it that the, back that up a little bit. Why is it that the non-bouncy almost knocks it over, but the bouncy one every time just knocks them over pretty easily? Okay? All right, so think about what's going on here. Why is it if they have the same energy, why does one, the bouncy, knock Blocky over, and the non-bouncy just kind of makes him wiggle? Oops, in the wrong spot there. Okay, so why is it that the non-bouncy doesn't knock him over, but the bouncy topples him even further? Okay? All right, are we rolling?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so...
Tip 1.
It's actually part 2.
Part 2 then.
Alright.
But tip 1 is
So
just part.
explaining the bounce versus the non-bounce. So to explain the non-bounce, I'm going to have a bowling ball flying at me, and I'm Blocky. Peyton, scoot back. So I'm Blocky, and if I have the non-bounce ball, it's just like catching it and dropping it. I'm going to drop it on the floor. I'm just going to catch it. Alright, send me the ball. So that's an impulse. It's not a huge impulse in my body. Now, if I wanted to simulate the bounce, what has to be different about the bounce? Well, the bounce is not only does it hit me, does the ball come to a stop, but if it squishes the ball unsquishes and pushes me back even further. So now to represent the bounce of the ball, not only am I going to catch the ball, I'm going to toss it right back the other way, because that's what happens when things bounce. They hit something and it comes right back the other direction. Okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Ready?
For the bounce. Whoa. But you notice it's a bigger impulse when it's not just the catch. We'll do it in slow motion, but you can still throw fast.
Okay.
It's not slow motion for you.
I can't.
So I'm going to be the
throw it.
slow motion then. Slow motion bounce. This is like the catch, and then that's the release. It's even a bigger impulse.
That's
So the point is, whenever there's a bounce in a collision, that's a bigger impulse. So if your car, is it more safe to have a car hit something and stop, or is it more safe for a car to hit something and spring backwards? The springing backwards is actually a larger impulse. It's going to be twice the impulse on the thing. It's actually much more dangerous. So the way they make cars is when they hit something, they crunch. They crunch the stop and don't bounce, because it makes for a smaller impulse in the end. If a car were more elastic and it hits something and squishes a stop and then goes backwards, that's a much bigger impulse, not only in the car, but the people riding on the inside. So bounce in collisions, for keeping people safe, is bad, but bounce does preserve more of the energy, but it is a much bigger impulse when there's a bounce versus not a bounce.